Shabbat Shalom, and welcome back to Light to the Nations channel here in the Torah portion in Shabbat. Today I'm going to be alone. Lillian won't join us in this gathering, and I'm very sorry for the late notice. The reality is that we had a very tough week, and we needed to have some rest in this Shabbat. And actually, last night we were getting home really late because we have the opportunity to share. We were invited actually. We were invited to spend the Friday night in the house of a friend, and it was a beautiful experience because we have the chance to talk about Shabbat, to talk about the scriptures, and that was a really good experience. You know, I I don't know what happened with the audio. I didn't hear the shofar and I missed the shofar. So please let me know in the chat if you are able to hear well this the audio, or if you find any issue. Because I don't know what happened here, but I couldn't hear the intro nor the shofar, and I missed a lot the shofar actually. It's a wake up call. So you heard the shofar? Very good. That's good. Okay, let me see if I can do something here because, you know, if not, I'm not gonna hear the music. Just give me a second to try to fix this thing. Let's see. Okay. Just be patient with me. I'm trying to see if I can fix this thing. I'm gonna play the shofar just in case I need to check it. No, the same thing, but if you're able to hit it, that's the important thing. Okay, I will see how to fix it. But anyhow, we are gonna do a shorter portion because I don't want to extend beyond the time we have, and I will go through some of the scriptures that we have in this portion that is going through the chapter 4 verse 20 to the end of the chapter 7. And in order to use the time the best possible, I'm just gonna highlight some of the things that caught our attention while we were reading this portion. And I think it's so relevant, especially on the times that we're living, that we need to consider some of the aspects, especially the one that it caught our attention the most. And something that I wanted to share, that's something that was in my heart. I was taking a look in some news this morning, and sometimes we are so entertained on the things of the day to day that we don't put attention on what's happening, around us sometimes. And just was taking a look in some news that in my country, here in Chile, they're already moving ahead with the implementation of digital driver license. And I wasn't aware at all about this. So the plan is to replace the physical driver license, and they're going to replace it with a digital one. And they're not gonna replace it immediately. It's gonna be a transition period. This is what I was reading about. But the plan is to start implementing this on the second half of 2023. And when I was reading this just I don't know, an hour ago. Was thinking that we see the world moving on so fast in many aspects. We see the world, moving in different directions, somehow connected to the prophecies on what is written in the scriptures. It's moving fast. Technology is moving really fast. Politics are moving really fast. Social changes are moving really fast, and time to time it could be really overwhelming, because we see that we are being directed in just one way, and the world is moving in a specific way, and we know that this should happen, that this is going to happen. Time to time we cannot believe that it's happening so fast. And while I was thinking on this, you know, an opposite thought came to my heart, is that if the world is moving that fast, are we moving really fast in what we have to do? You know, time is speeding up. Everything is moving, as I'm telling you, in a very fast pace. But what we need to ask when we are going out of this overwhelming sometimes situation, is that we need to ask ourselves: are we moving fast in what we have been called by YaHuWaH to do? Are we being strong enough, courage enough to do what we have to do? And are we doing it fast enough? If darkness is moving fast, because that's the way it needs to happen, shouldn't we do we should do the same? We should do the same. We should be doing and moving fast in what we have to do for the kingdom of YaHuWaH. And this is something that we need to meditate. That's something that we need to think on this. Something that we need to ask YaHuWaH for guidance and directions. And when I'm said and when I talk about moving fast on what we have to do, it could be in many different directions, asking guidance for YaHuWaH on how we have to face these times, asking guidance from YaHuWaH to lead us with His Ruach in what is our mission and our purpose in life. In the discussion last night, somebody said the following: is the first thing, that the most important thing in life is that we need to find our purpose. And as soon as we find our purpose, we need to live in it. And as soon as we live in it, things are started to flow. And I think this is somehow based on the scriptures. I think all of us, we have been experiencing this on the different aspects. And every time that we do the will of YaHuWaH, every time that we serve Him, we see that His mighty hands is with us. We see that His mighty hands is opening doors, is making the way, is guiding us, and we see how everything started to flow. For sure, around us, we see difficulties. Difficulties will come all the time. It's part of the game, if I can say it. Difficulties make us stronger. But we need to realize that every time that we do the will of Allah and we serve Him and we accomplish our call in the kingdom of Allah, we see miracles happening, we see everything flowing, we see His mighty hands upon us. So just wanted to share you this because this should be our focus on the light, taking a look on what's happening in the world just to know the timings. But our focus should be meditate on this all the time. Am I doing enough? Am I doing it fast enough? What else you want from me? What I can do for you? Give me wisdom, understanding, discernment on what I have to do. And the times, requires us to do like this. The times that we're living require that we should seek the will of Allah in our lives. As we were discussing last week, I can be a hand, you can be an eye, somebody else can be an ear in the body of Mashiach. We all together are we going to work as a body, as a team, as a people of YaHuWaH with different functions. But if the ear is not doing what he has to do, if the hand is not doing, or the eye is not doing what she has to do, or the hand is not doing what it has to do and doing it fast, in harmony and with the same rhythm, things are not going to flow. And we see darkness somehow coming all together, working together in alignment, in the same frequency, in the same symphony, in the same rhythm. And that's why it's moving fast. It's time for us that we should do the same, to work in symphony and in the same rhythm, like music. That's the only way, working echad as a team, as a people of YaHuWaH, things are gonna start happening in preparation of the ground for the return of Mashiach. So think about it. Pray to YaHuWaH on these things. He is gonna be the one guiding us. Something that I wanted to share with you, and let me try to put this on the screen. We have put this page together. We started with this project of the Light to the Nations website some time ago. And unfortunately, due to time constraints, it's not finished. I started to do this by myself. And, last week I put a link in the chat. So for anyone that is in need of prayer, if you go and fill the form, it's gonna get to this prayer wall. That's the way we are gonna call this website. So we have prayer requests from Judy that you can see there in the screen. We have prayer requests from Michael. We have prayer requests from Katerina. So just take a look on that, read it. Let me share with you the link. So if you want to take a look in the prayer wall, this is the link for the prayer wall. And I see Karen. Thank you so much, Karen. You have shared the link for the prayer form. Anyways, if you go to the prayer wall and click in let me show you. And click here. If it's working properly, it should direct you to the form. So you can go to the form and put just your prayer request, and then in the prayer wall you will see the request of prayer for our brothers and sisters. If you don't feel comfortable filling the form, we will continue doing what we started 2 weeks ago. put your prayer requests here in the chat. I will ask the moderators to help us with just to put the prayer request at the end of the broadcast. Okay, so let's move on and let me share that song with you. Okay, so I love this one, so let me play it to you. Here we go.
זרחה לנו שמך אקרא אבא, רק אתה.
That's a beautiful song, you know. And thanks how I managed to fix my setting problem so I could hear it. That's the way we need to pray to him, is just to call him by his name and to call upon him. So I will invite you to close your eyes and let's pray together to our Abba. Abba, we want to give thanks to you in this moment because of your presence, because of your love, because of your compassion. Thank you, Abba, because you are the one giving us strength in the middle of difficulties. You are the one guiding our steps in the times of troubles, because you are the one sustaining us, even when we see how the world is moving in opposite direction of your kingdom. I want to pray to you in this moment, asking for forgiveness, asking for restoration, asking for your guidance in what we have to do in these times. You are the only one that we can trust. You are the only one and true Elohim, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And we rely only on you, YaHuWaH. We want to invite you, Abba, in this time, that you can be with us and your presence can guide us in this gathering, that you can touch our hearts, that we can feel your presence and your Ruach within us. Abba, we want to be your servants, and we want to be the temple of the Ruach, of your Ruach. Cleanse us, Abba, with the blood of Yahushua, and forgive us, and guide us in what we have to do in these times. We cry out in your name, of YaHuWaH, because in your name is where we find salvation. And you have done everything for us, because you sent your son Yahushua in order to manifest that salvation for us. And we are waiting for him, for his second coming, his manifestation, in order to restore things here in the world. In the meantime, I ask you that you can strengthen your people in the four corners of the earth, that you can strengthen our hearts, that you can give us of your shalom, of your wisdom and understanding and discernment, so we can do what you have been preparing for us in these times. You have chosen us before the foundation of the world, and you have decided in your wisdom, Abba, to give us life in these times, because you have a purpose for your people in this time. And we want to be ready, Abba, to answer to your calling and to serve you with all our heart. Guide us in everything we do. Guide us every day, Abba. Bring healing and salvation to those of your people that are going through sickness, and bring restoration and solutions for those that are going through trials and tribulations. We wait on you continually, Abba, and we love you with all our heart. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here, to study your word. Guide us in everything we do and everything we say. And we pray to you In the mighty name of your Son, YaHuWaH HaMashiach. Amen. Amen. Let me play for you the part in 60 seconds. Here we go.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 seconds. Today's portion is from Numbers 421 through 789. It is called Naso, which means lift up. Moses took several censuses in order to divide specific tasks in the tabernacle. God directed the Israelites to purify the camp and remove unclean people. When one wronged a fellow Israelite and realized his guilt, he was to confess and make restitution. Sacred donations were to be priests to keep. If a husband accused his wife of being unfaithful, they were to go to the priest and take a test of bitter water. The test involved mixing some dirt in water, baking bread, and the wife drinking the water. If her thigh sags and belly distends, then she was unfaithful. If nothing happened, she was faithful and could bear children. Should one wish to set themselves apart for God, they would take the Nazirite vow. No wine, intoxicants, vineyard grapes, raisins, or anything obtaining to a grapevine. No razors would touch the Nazirite head until the completion of the Nazirite terms. And the Nazirite was not to go near a dead person. If a person died suddenly near a Nazirite, they must shave their head, make sacrifice, and start over. On completion of the vow, sacrifice was made and hair would be shaved and burned. The Aaronic benediction was instructed to the priest to give to the people. The tabernacle was completed and anointed and consecrated. Moses would speak to God in the tent of meeting. And that is Naso in 60 seconds.
So Naso in 60 seconds. Let me put the scripture here in the screen. Let me know you can hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. Good? Good. You see, that's the way to work as a team. We were talking about that a minute ago. So let me read again. So let's start over. It says, and YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, take a census also the sons of Gershon by their father's house, by their clans. Register them from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, all who enter to perform the service, to do the service in the tent of appointment. This is the service of the clans of the Gershonites in serving and in bearing burdens. And they shall bear the curtains of the dwelling place and the tent of appointment, with its covering, the covering of the fine leather that is on it, the covering for the door of the tent of appointment, and the screens of the courtyard, and the covering for the door of the gate of the courtyard, which is around the dwelling place and the slaughter place and their courts, all the equipment for their service, and all that is made for them. So shall they serve. At the mouth of Aharon and his sons is all the service of the sons of Gershonites, all the burden and all their service. And you shall appoint to them all the duty of all their burden. This is the service of the clans of the sons of Gershon in the tent of appointments, and let their duties be under the hand of Itamar, son of Aaron the priest. So, just to put a stop there, we began last week on reading the different services and the duties of the Levites. And we are in continuation of the different tasks that YaHuWaH assigned to each one of the Leviim in Hebrew, the Levites. So this is exactly what we see, and we have been talking about this a few weeks ago. Is that and I mentioned this at the beginning. Each one of us has a different task and different duty in the kingdom of Allah. We need to be prepared, and we need to be with the willing heart to perform that tasks, and we need to be with a joyful heart that YaHuWaH has been calling us to his kingdom to perform a specific task. You know, part of the all-time question of humanity is what is our purpose here in this world? You know, and actually the book of Kohelet is talking about this when it's talking that it's talking about life in the words of Solomon, that we're always seeking and looking for what is the real purpose of life. You know, in the way that we are living, sometimes it's so difficult to see what for we are here. It doesn't make sense, to be honest, to think back that and taking a look in our entire life, in the way that the life is being conducted in these days, since always actually, that there's not a clear purpose of what we have to do. The only one that is bringing to a realization our lives is YaHuWaH Elohim. When we are serving him, when we are able to find our purpose in his kingdom. So seeing that, we see here in this portion something that maybe the Levites didn't think about it. They see now YaHuWaH giving them the purpose of their lives. And this should be actually the heart as well, is to seek for that mission, is to seek Abba to understand what is the task he wants to assign to us. And this is totally related to the point that I want to highlight in this portion today. But let me continue reading. It says in the verse 30th, register them from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, all who enter the service to do the work of the tent of appointment. And this is the duty of their burden according to their service for the tent of appointment, the boards of the dwelling place, and its bars, and its columns, and its sockets, and the columns around the courtyard with their sockets, and their pegs, and their cords, with all their equipment, and all their service, and assign to each by name the equipment of the duty of their burden. This is the service of the clans of the sons of Merari, as all their service for the tent of appointment, under the hand of Itamar, son of Aharon the priest. So, you know, I'm gonna keep it to there. You can continue reading the portion on the chapter. But let me read just the verse 49. It says, according to the mouth of YaHuWaH, they were registered by the hand of Moshe, each according to his service and according to his burden. That's where they registered by him, as YaHuWaH commanded Moshe. So why I'm reading this last verse is because it's just to reinforce the idea that it was YaHuWaH himself doing this. It was YaHuWaH instructed and guiding Moshe to assign the tasks to the Levites. Just a color commentary as part of this portion. You know, this portion somehow is showing us what is in the heart of YaHuWaH regarding retirement. And this is totally different from what the system of the world has been implementing. You know, according to YaHuWaH, for the Levites, the age of retirement was 50 years old. And if you are able to do this in this world in 50 years old, it's not easy. But this is what is in the heart of YaHuWaH, the age of retirement. But But let's see, the most important point here that I wanted to tell you is about YaHuWaH doing this is calling his people to specific tasks. Is calling his people for the is calling his people to do a specific task for his kingdom, and he's doing it in a particular way. What I'm talking about. Let me go back to the verse 32. In the verse 32, it says the following: when he's assigning this to this particular house, it says the following: and assign by name the equipment of the duty of their burden. It's assigned by name. And when we read this, it caught our attention, because what does it mean that he's assigning a task by name? And keep in mind that YaHuWaH is the one doing all this registry, is instructed Moshe to do it, so it's coming from his heart. And from his heart, he's assigning tasks to his people and assigning the task, calling them by name. So we started to dig a little bit on this, and this is specifically the point that I wanted to share. And we see a few passages in the scripture about what could it mean that he's calling us by name. And let me show you first example here in the book of Shemot, Exodus, in the verse 31, in the chapter 31, verse 1, 2, it says, and YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe, saying, see, I have called by name Betzalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Yehuda, and I have filled him with the Ruach of Elohim, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all work. So, YaHuWaH is calling by name a person, giving him of his Ruach, and assigning a specific task, that it was a really important task, that it was to build everything related to the tabernacle, and he's calling him by name. We see later in the same book, in the chapter 33, this interesting interaction between Moshe and YaHuWaH. And let me read it from the verse 11 onward. It says the following: thus YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. And he would return to the camp, but his servant Yehoshua, son of Nun, a young man, did not leave the tent. And Moshe said to YaHuWaH, see, you are saying to me, bring up these people, but you have not made known to me whom you would send with me. Though you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my eyes. And now please, if I have found favor in your name, please show me your way, and let me know you, so that I find favor in your eyes, and consider that this nation is your people. And YaHuWaH answered him in the verse 17, saying, and YaHuWaH said to Moshe, even this word you have spoken I shall do, for you have found favor in my eyes, and I know you by name. What does it mean that he knows us by name? And this is something this is not easy, it's not difficult to understand. If you see a crowd of people, maybe you're not gonna know everybody. Maybe you are gonna know their faces, but you are not gonna really know the person. If you know the name of the person, it means that you are having a closer relationship. If you're able to know the name of the person, because you are getting close, and you are it's not from the group, it's not anybody, it's nobody, it's just a person that is really something to you. It means something to you. And this is playing in the two directions. Knowing the name of YaHuWaH is also an evidence of a closer relationship. It doesn't mean, that it's the only thing. It requires an effort. It requires something that it should be in our heart to get closer, the desire in our heart to get closer to Him. If we think in His side, the only fact that He's knowing a person by his name, because in His heart is always the desire to get closer to us. So every time that we are opening the door, He's gonna get in. And if we are opening the door all the time and we are letting Him into our hearts, He's going to know us closely, intimately, and He's going to know our names. There is a beautiful view on this, what I'm sharing this with you. If we go to the book of there is a prophecy, and you can read this in context. YaHuWaH is speaking about His people, is speaking about Jerusalem, saying the following: lift up your eyes on high and see. Who has created this? He's bringing out their host by number. He calls them all by name. By the greatness of ability and potent of power, a man is not lacking. The desire of the heart of YaHuWaH is to know us by name. And, even Mashiach said the following in the book of John. In chapter 10, verse 3, as you can see in the screen, the doorkeeper opens for him, and the sheep hear his voice. And listen, and he called his own sheep by name and leads them out. Yahushua is calling his sheep by name. You remember what is written in the book of Revelation, that He's going to assign us a new name. Names are so important. And as has been shown to you, it's in the heart of YaHuWaH to have this intimacy with us and to know us at such level that, as soon as He sees us, He's going to say, this is Juan Carlos. This is Dennis. This is Karen. And you can put your names over there. If we get to that closer relationship with Allah, that He is able to recognize us by name, that's going to be an evidence that we are really close to Him. And this is exactly what He's looking for His people, that He is going to call us by name, and we are going to hear His voice, and we are going to be ready for Him. And the beautiful picture connecting to the portion is that if He's calling us by name, it's because He's assigning tasks for each one of us. And it's a task that we need to be ready to accomplish, a task in the kingdom of YaHuWaH. And there is a warning as well. Let me look for the warning, because I don't have it here in any note, but we will find it together. The opposite thing, Let's go to the book of Matthew. Chapter 7. And this is something that we know by heart. It says in the verse 22 and 23, many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work anomia, lawlessness. I never knew you. These are the type of people that YaHuWaH doesn't know by name. We need to be known by name in order to be in the set apart group. The set apart group that is not gonna listen these words from Yahushua. is the set apart group that is going to hear the words of YaHuWaH inviting us to get into his kingdom. So, that's a beautiful picture to share with you. So the second one that I wanted to highlight, and by the way, I was forgetting this. What's going to happen if we are known by name? If YaHuWaH knows your name, what's going to happen? We see a beautiful answer to that in the last verse of this portion, in the chapter 7, verse 49, when it says the following: "And when Moshe went into the tent of appointment to speak with him, he heard the voice of one speaking to him from above the lid of atonement that was on the ark, on the witness, from between the two cherubim. Thus he spoke to him: If he knows our name, and we know his name, and we developed this close relationship with him, we are going to be able to listen to his voice. And sometimes he's not going to be a voice within us. It could be, as the privilege that Moshe had is to hear with our ears his voice. And we know that we are going to hear that voice as the first generation of Israel in the wilderness. We are going to hear the voice of YaHuWaH, in his second coming. But even in these times, if we're able to develop this close relationship with him, I think we can accomplish the same thing that Moshe did. We can accomplish exactly the same thing that YaHuWaH or Mashiach did, is to be guided, listening the voice of Abba within us and also with our ears. So the second thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is something, it's not it's something that came to me this morning. It's not answers, are mostly questions yet, but I want to share it with you anyways. And it's about the Nazarite vow. And we know, I'm not going to read it completely here because we know that what is the vow about is basically they needed to grow the hair on their heads, and also they needed to separate themselves from any product that was coming from the vine. Okay, so, and this is really interesting because when we see the portion in the details, is that they needed to, at the end of the vow, they needed to shave and burn the hair. And actually, if they were in the middle of the vow and they went through a kind of defilement because of a dead body, they needed to shave, they needed to burn the hair and to start all over again. You can read this after the broadcast and try to go into the details. The point is that, there is a lot of symbolism in each one of these aspects. And as I said before, I don't have the answer, but I'm going to share with you some important things that maybe it could be related to a more spiritual meaning of this vow. So let's go and check about the hair. And if I'm not wrong, this is in the book of Ezekiel. Let's go and read the book of Ezekiel chapter 5. So it says the following: "And you, son of man, take a sharp sword, take it as a barber razor, and you shall pass it over your head and your beard, and you shall take scales to weigh and divide the hair. Burn with fire 1/3 in the midst of the city, when the days of the siege are completed, and you shall take 1/3 and strike around it with the sword, and scatter 1/3 in the wind, and I shall draw out the sword after them. And you shall take a few hairs from there, and bind them in the edge of your garments, and take again some of them, and throw them into the midst of the fire, and burn them in the fire. From it a fire shall spread unto all the house of Israel. So, we see a similar thing, a similar action as we see in the vow of the Nasir vow. That's the way that you call it in Hebrew, Nasir vow. It's just removing your hair and burn it. So could it be that maybe Ezekiel was having a Nasir vow? I don't know, maybe. But even though that he was not doing it in that scenario, the action that he's doing at the end is very similar to what we see here in the portion in the chapter 6 of Numbers. So what is all this about? Why YaHuWaH is instructing Ezekiel to do all of this? And the answer we see it here in the verse 5. Thus said the Master YaHuWaH, this is Jerusalem, which I have set in the midst of the nations, with the other lands all around her. But she rebelled against my right rulings, doing wrong more than the nations, and my laws more than the lands all around her. For they have rejected my right rulings, and they have not walked in my laws. So, what I see here is that the hair somehow is being connected to Jerusalem. He's removing his hair, burning the hair, yes, cutting with the sword, sending the third part of the hair to the wind. And YaHuWaH is saying this is Jerusalem, and he's describing later on what he's going to do. Therefore, that said the Master YaHuWaH, look, I myself against you, and shall execute judgment in your midst before the eyes of the nations. And I shall do among you what I have never done, and the like of which I never do again, because of all your abominations. Therefore, fathers are going to eat their sons in your midst, and sons eat their fathers. And I shall execute judgment among you, and scatter all your remnant to all the winds. Therefore, as I live, declares YaHuWaH, because you have defiled my set-apart place with all your disgusting matters, and with all your abominations, therefore I also withdraw, and my eye shall not pardon, nor shall I spare. So he is started to describe the same thing that Ezekiel is doing with the hair. It says 1/3 of the hair was burned in fire. So this is the interpretation for that. You shall die on pestilence, and be consumed with the scarcity of food in your midst. 1/3 shall fall by the sword all around you, and I shall scatter 1/3 to all the winds, and draw out a sword after them. So could it be is that the Nasir, and this is a question, not an answer, something that I need to study, and I'm sharing this with you, that maybe you should start studying this as well, about maybe a deeper understanding of the Nasir vow. Could it be that the hair somehow is representing Jerusalem in the Nasir vow? Well, let me share something else with you. In the Nasir vow is also the grapes, or the fruit of the vine, that somehow was forbidden during the vow. So what we find regarding the grapes, let me look for it. So if we go to the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu, chapter 5, let me read it. Starting in the verse 1, it says, please let me sing to the one I love, a song for my loved one regarding his vineyard. My loved one has a vineyard on a fertile hill, and he dug it up and cleared it of stones, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a watchtower in its midst, and also made a winepress in it. And he waited for the yielding of grapes, but it yielded rotten ones. And now, inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Yehuda, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield rotten ones? And now please let me inform you that I am doing to what I am doing to my vineyard, to take away its hedge, and it shall be burned, to break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. DDK, you know what I'm laughing. I just saw your email, and it's a confirmation to what we are reading here. I will share it as well as part of the broadcast. To take away its hedge, and it shall be burned, to break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. And I laid waste its not pruned or dug or thorn bushes. What's the point, Let's read the 7. For the vineyard of YaHuWaH house is who? Is the house of Israel. And the man of Yehuda is his pleasant plant. The vine is the representation of the house of Israel, not the house of Yehuda. The house of Yehuda has another representation. The house of Israel, the 10 lost tribes, are representing the grapes. What is the grapes basically? Is the fruit. And Yahushua was speaking about this. Actually, let's go to the chapter 7 of the book of Matthew. It says, by their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from the thorn bushes, or figs from the thistles? I think. So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. And this is totally connected to what we had read in the book of YaHuWaH, Isaiah. Mashiach is somehow quoting in some aspects to what Isaiah was writing about in the chapter 5. It says, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then by their fruits you shall know them. The vine is representing the house of Israel. The grapes and the product of the vine is representing the fruits of the house of Israel, our actions. If we are walking in righteousness, if we are walking in the right rulings in the Torah of YaHuWaH, or we are acting as a rebellious house. So could it be, again, coming back to the Nazir vow, could it be that maybe the Nazir vow is somehow connected to Jerusalem? Could it be that maybe it's connected to the actions and the heart of the house of Israel? Could it be, and I'm going to have an open question for you as well, could it be that all of that somehow is connected to what is written in the book of Revelation chapter 17, with the woman with the cup, with the drink, with wine that is pure of abominations? And we know that woman is Jerusalem, and the wine, could it be that is a representation of the house of Israel? Those ones that are still in a rebellious stage or condition. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts on this, and as I said, I don't have the answer, but I see an interesting connection with the Nazir vow and with all the symbolism that could be that maybe we are in that period of time of the Nazir vow that is coming to an end. It's coming to an end that that hair is going to be burned. And we are going to start all over again by the hand of Yahushua with the remnant that he has been keeping for the last times. Just to share with you why I was laughing on this and this thing about the hedge. Because, in this portion, we see in the chapter 6 of the book of Numbers, the Aaronic blessing. And the Aaronic blessing, we see here, and YaHuWaH spoke to Moshe saying, speak to Aaron and his son saying, this is how you bless the children of Israel. Say to them, YaHuWaH bless you and guard you. YaHuWaH make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. YaHuWaH lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself shall bless them. So DDK just sent me an email just on time. Thank you so much, dear sister. And it says the following. I'm going to read just the otiot. What DDK shared with me is that Jeff Benner did a study some time ago of the Aaronic blessing, but taking a look in the otiot. Okay, is the meaning of each one of the Hebrew letters within this blessing. And the understanding that they go through the studying the otiot of the Aaronic blessing, it is an expanded version, if I can say so, of the Aaronic blessing. And I'm going to read it to you. It says the following: YaHuWaH will kneel before you, presenting gifts, and will guard you with a hedge of protection. That's why I was laughing, because it was a reference to the hedge. Guard you with a hedge of protection. YaHuWaH will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will bring you comfort and sustenance. YaHuWaH will lift up his wholeness of being and look upon you, and he will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen. And what DDK was telling me, and this is a beautiful picture, when in this expanded version and understanding of the Aaronic blessing, when it says that YaHuWaH will kneel before you, is kneeling before you, it means like a loving daddy who kneels down to his child's level to be face to face in order to listen to him. And we have been talking about intimacy with Allah. And you know, this prayer is somehow showing this type of intimacy, this type of loveliness, this type of compassion from Allah. You know, and in Hebrew it says, Yevarechacha YaHuWaH veishmerecha, Yaer YaHuWaH panavelecha v'yichuneka, Yisa YaHuWaH panavelecha v'yasem lecha shalom. That's the way that we need to feel the blessings from YaHuWaH. You know, wrapping up everything that I have been saying is getting closer to him, knowing him. He is there with his heart full of love, seeking to have this closeness with us, with his heart to teach us his ways and teach us by giving us tasks on what we need to do in his kingdom. He do everything through his servants. You know, last night we were talking about this, is that when we talk about faith, emunah, is so misunderstood by the Christianity or religions of the world. Emunah is something that is not intangible. It's something that is related to actions, to the works. We are going to be able to walk in emunah as soon as we do the action, and YaHuWaH will manifest himself through those actions. So it's the same thing. We need to walk the talk. We need to do things. We need to get closer to Allah. That's why he wants to assign tasks to us, because he do everything through his servants. And as soon as we do his will, he is going to manifest himself, and he will know us by our names. And even more, he will assign a new name for us, for each one of us in his kingdom. So brothers and sisters, this is what I had to share with you today. As I told you at the beginning, it was going to be a shorter version of our gathering, but the most important thing is that we have the time and the heart to spend time in Shabbat, studying his word, to go in deeper understanding of what Abba wants from each one of us. And this is something that, especially as I said at the beginning, in our times should be in our heart all the time, is to seek Abba continually, is to understand what he wants from you. And as I said many weeks ago, asking Abba, what do you want from me? Abba, how I can serve you today? Abba, how I can do it faster? Because we are running out of time. So those are the things that we need to pray about it, and we need to ask Allah to guide us all the time. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes taking a look in the chat. So if you have prayer requests, please go ahead, put the prayer request here. If you have any comment or something, question regarding to the portion or what I have been sharing, just go ahead and just taking a look in the chat. So let me read here, much easier. So much love and agree, amen. Trying to be a positive person for my local community, this will, whether I go neighborhood or work. Trying to let my light shine for the kingdom, amen. That should be the attitude. Though sometimes we are going through difficulties, we need to try to get into the mood of Allah. From spiritual valleys to spiritual mountains and back again, hold on through it, all family. Thanks, Juan. Abba sent us 99 of his sheep to search for his lost one. Here I am, send me. That's the attitude, Danny. Absolutely. Thank you, Juan and Lee, for your prayers. Thank you, Juan Carlos and moderators. And by the way, you know, I saw the email from the Shannon as well. We have been praying for her daughter, and YaHuWaH is so good that everything, you know, changed in a miraculous way. You know, no doctors were needed. You know, YaHuWaH put in Shannon's heart what she needed to do. And we need to keep her and her family in our prayers. So that's the way that Allah is working through us. Please pray for my wife to return safely tomorrow. She's flying from Cape Town. We'll be praying for her. Please share your email. Yeshua HaMashiach will do. So please bless us with the Aaronic blessing spoken in Hebrew at the end of the broadcast. That was beautiful. Okay, we will do it, brother. Not a problem. For your praise for my meeting, I am sending an email later today. Absolutely, Pam. Send me the details and we will be praying for you. Okay, so it's good to do it. You know, I'm going to do something. I wanted to do it after I was thinking in my mind. That's not the way to do it. I will do it anyway. Okay, just give me a second. We're going to sing, you know. We're going to sing the Aaronic blessing in Spanish. Just give me a second. Let's see if it's going to work. Yes, let's see. Just give me one more second. Just put in the chat if you are able to hear me and hear the guitar, please. So can you hear the guitar? Just put the comment in the chat, please. And if you can hear me properly here, yes. So it seems that everything is working fine. Yes. Okay, so let's do it. You know, my voice is not the best today, but we'll try to do the best, okay? YaHuWaH te bendiga y te guarde. YaHuWaH haga resplandecer su rostro en ti ti compasión. YaHuWaH, alce su rostro sobre ti y te dé paz, te dé paz y te dé paz, te dé paz, te dé paz. Yevarejaja YaHuWaH veishmereja, Yaer YaHuWaH panaveleja vihuneka, Isa YaHuWaH panaveleja, Beyasem leja Shalom. Have a wonderful Shabbat. YaHuWaH be with you all. See you next week. And we're going to finish with a song. You know, it's not going to be the only one. We're going to finish with a song. So thank you so much for joining us today. And keep praying for everyone. That YaHuWaH will bless us. YaHuWaH will guide our steps. That YaHuWaH will be with us all the time. So YaHuWaH be with you. Shabbat Shalom.